The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, good evening, Bash Campers. This is Connie Ashburn, of course. I need to know if you can see me and hear me. So if somebody wants to send me a text or raise your hand, let me know that everything is good. I see Stacy raised her hand. It's hard for me to tell if that was raised before. It looks like Sheila. Okay, it looks like I'm good. Megan raised her hand. Madison did. Okay, so I think we're good. The only thing is, if somebody does have my message or has my text thing, I don't know if you guys see the full welcome to week 6 on your screen, or if you're getting the preview of the next slide in addition to, and I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of that. It's like it on one screen and it's not like it on the other. I've got 2 screens in my office, so I'm trying to figure out which way it looks to you guys. So I will look to see if there's any notes out here. This thing is kind of weird. So, hi, I see Kat. Hi, I just got to see her the other night at the Pink Sapphire Tour. So, oh, you can see the preview. Okay. I don't know why. That's what I'm trying to figure out, that you guys can see the preview, and I don't know why. I'm going to try one other thing and see if it works. Well, I guess if it doesn't bother you, I'm going to go ahead because I'm not really sure why it's doing that. So I'm going to just continue so we can get going because this is our last week of Bash Camp. It's hard to believe. So welcome to week 6. Let's see. It is Thursday, April 25th. I am not going to show you because I traveled all day and we have this big event on Saturday that we do for, actually it's the nonprofit that my daughter works for called Project Hope Foundation. And we have a massive fundraiser on Saturday that we're doing all the florals for. So my bathtub is filled with hydrangeas at this moment. It's pretty crazy. So, and they actually do service children with autism. So I'm pretty excited that we are connected to Autism Speaks with our philanthropy. So let's get going tonight. And I think we're all set. Okay, so of course our typical mantra, I wish I could get this off here because this is kind of making me crazy that you guys can see not the entire screen like normal. I don't know why. I just can't figure it out. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm a Bash Camper. I am, I can, I will, I do, as you all know, our typical mantra that we go through. And certainly our goal is always about you to help you be a better consultant in reaching your goals consistently. So that is the reason you have spent the last 5 weeks with us, and now you're into week 6, and you will be done and hopefully finish up all your fabulous assignments and graduate. So speaking of assignments, we're going to review those very quickly. Week 5 had the Make Most of Your Party quiz. Assignment number 10 was the 2 bookings and 1 sponsoring lead survey. And it did not mean you had to get 2 bookings and 1 sponsoring lead. It was you had to take the survey about that. So just be aware of that. Obviously, the settling of the Blend Bash party by May 9th, so that's 2 weeks from tonight, if you want to get the points for that. And obviously, if you do 1,000 plus in that Blend Bash, then you're going to end up with bonus points as well. So, and then of course, we would love for you to post your party results in the Bash Camp Facebook group and use the hashtag of PZBlendBash if you are willing and able. So that would be awesome. So here is our weekly assignments for this week. And again, you know you need the 130 points to graduate. So assignment number 11, it's a complete the Say No to Customer Service quiz. So there's some customer service, I guess I would call them issues or complaints. And then you just have to verbally type a response that does not have the word no in it. So it's pretty simple. And then the number 12 assignment is the Complete the Excellent Customer Service Survey. So that's going to be some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, of course. And then I have number 13 as the Blend Bash party, but you know that's kind of an overseer of the whole Bash Camp itself. So moving on from there, this is the app, and I actually had an updated version of this from Erica, and I do have to pass on a message about her. She is normally on with us, and she's very sad about missing this last week, but her younger sister got in an accident tonight. So any of you that pray, say a prayer for her. So she's got to head up to Dallas. She has no idea what the circumstances are, and she was pretty upset when I talked to her tonight. So she is not with us this evening, and I did not have the time to update this. But if you are not using the app, it's just a reminder that that stuff is out there. So all right, so we are now in the end of the sales process, and the last step is follow-up, and it's one of the keys to building a successful business. And I think it probably gets less attention and time than it really deserves. So when you run a business like this where you've got a consumable product, follow-up is critical. So I've been on the road quite a bit doing the Pink Sapphire tours, and it's amazing the number of people that really are admitting that they're not doing follow-up on a regular basis. So certainly want to encourage that, and we're going to be talking about that tonight because it needs to really play an important role in your business routine because of the fact that people will not just buy from you once and then come back to you readily unless you're really reconnecting with them. So this is all about what we've done so far, establishing the goals and building trust, and how to build relationships with contacts, sharing that compelling reason to book that blend bash, the keys to the $1,000 party, and to make the most of a party, and then now how to build customer loyalty, which of course has to do with follow-up. So we are ready to get going, and this is our topic for tonight. So we will get started right now. So we're going to talk about the keys to building customer loyalty. Selling consumable products, as I mentioned, really creates a need for having a follow-up system just to keep your customers happy and feeling serviced. And so building time into your weekly business routine for consistent follow-up really becomes important if you want customers reordering from you, and better yet, just customers joining your team, because once they become lovers of Pink Zebra and you're staying in touch with them and you're building that relationship, the opportunity for them to join your team is going to be much greater, no doubt. So there is a saying that it takes months to find customers and only seconds to lose them. So customers certainly want to feel appreciated. And we know when people are buying online, they're probably not getting a lot of that. So the way people are shopping these days, service is not as big of an issue. So when they get it, they appreciate it. So in the process of really providing service, you are absolutely building relationships with them, and you're certainly creating an opportunity for future business. And I know some of you that are really good at follow-up, you have seen the rewards of that and certainly gotten the opportunity to build a stronger customer base that reorders from you regularly as a result. So resolving product issues quickly and really staying in touch to restock products, of course, because we're consumable, will just help to build that long-term relationship with your customers. So just think about the time and the energy and the money that you invest in getting new customers. It could be someone that you met at your last party, and then you began talking to them about booking a party or a Facebook event. So you think about the process before you got to that point. So in order to meet that guest that you had to first set up the party with the host, of course, you then worked to get them to book a date. You coached your host to get them, obviously, to invite those guests. She created a wish list. You planned the details of the party. All of those things that you did pre-party. So then, of course, you had to pack up your car the day of the party. You drive to a place that you've never been before. Hopefully, if it was a blend bash, so the setup was nice and easy. But then you then amazed, of course, all the guests with the fun party experience where you met that guest that we first talked about. And you certainly invested some time and energy into gaining that customer, no question. So once you have them, the idea, of course, is to retain them, and that certainly takes some work on your part. So we mentioned before that when a customer purchases from you, actually we haven't mentioned that. When I did this, I thought, wait a minute, I didn't even tell them this yet. So I'm going to skip that little line. So we just want to talk generally about customers in terms of customer service. This is about, oh, wait a minute. I feel like I messed something up. Sorry, guys. I had my thumb on that a little too tight, so I skipped this part itself. So customer service really is a commodity that many customers crave in the marketplace, and we are in, of course, a position to fill that need with service. So think about all the different places that you shop. How often do you receive that special follow-up call, maybe a note or a text asking you how you're enjoying your purchase and if there's anything else that they can do? It happens with some retailers, but not very many. So I can tell you it certainly does not happen often, but we really have a direct connection with our customers, and that is really what makes us different. And I think the fact that we, of course, spend time in their homes, if you're doing parties, of course, you're maybe sometimes meeting their family, their spouse, you're learning more about them being in their homes, and you certainly can create a stronger connection with a customer than when they're shopping at a typical retail store. So if you look at some of the things that are highlighted here, that if a customer likes you and continues to like you, they will continue to do do business with you. So again, developing that relationship and staying in contact with them is what makes the big difference. And then customer service stats show that new customers cost anywhere between 5 and 25 times more than retaining existing customers. For us, it's probably a little bit more challenging to really put a number to that specifically, but certainly if any of you are going out and doing events and spending money to do that to meet more customers, you know that there's some cost involved in that. So this is if you're really unsure how and when to follow up, I want to try to help you with that tonight. So if you haven't heard of the 2-2 plan, which I would imagine most of you have, I'm going to just talk about it very quickly. So 2 days, this is all about 2 days after the order's been placed, that you connect with your customer any way that you choose. So you could do a text message, a phone call, certainly a messenger, whatever. Let them know that the order's been placed and when it should arrive. And of course, you want to try to overestimate that time a little bit so that if it does take a little bit longer than normal, you've got yourself covered. So this is where you really should under-promise and over-deliver, plain and simple. So if you believe the order is going to take 5 days to arrive, maybe tell them 7 to 8 days, just so you can kind of cover that just in case. When the order arrives earlier, of course, they're going to be pleasantly surprised. And if you do ship the orders to you, just be very timely with delivering the items and maybe include a handwritten note thanking them for their business if, in fact, you're touching that order. So the 2 weeks frame is really, this connection is about checking customer satisfaction and really ensure that they receive their order. So maybe they need a reminder about how to use the warmer that they purchased, how many scoops to place in the warming dish, or really how to actually use soaps. Because people, maybe at the party, you didn't have time to tell them that they could certainly be putting it on their couch, their furniture, their pets, I mean, anywhere, absolutely anywhere. So this is really a connection that will begin that process of someone saying, well, that was really nice to hear from that consultant. So the 2 months thing is this connection focuses on product uses, maybe some upcoming product needs for them personally. So, you know, if they want to just kind of expand their collection, whatever it may be, and maybe they've got some gift buying needs that are coming up and that you may be able to help them with that. So this really gives you a chance to ask how they would feel about hosting their own party so they can share their experience with others if they've had a good experience with the product so far, or if they would ever see themselves sharing these products and earning some income doing it. So I know many of you have commented on that point when you really do follow up with customers and they're so pleased with the product. It's a very easy transition statement to ask them if they want to get more or if they could really see themselves earning money. So we know that follow-up basically creates happy customers, and that makes you happy as well. So when doing follow-up, the only thing I was going to mention before we go on from there is just always ask if it's okay for you to check back with them in the future. So once you finish that call, ask that permission, excuse me, sorry about that, to actually reconnect with them, because then you've got permission to make that call so you don't feel like you're being pushy. So there's no doubt the follow-up creates customer loyalty. And in this world of instantaneous everything, the impression that you make on a customer will absolutely keep them coming back to you instead of just jumping to the web to order another fragrance product that we know is not going to be good as Pink Zebra. And you want customers thinking about you when needs arise. And that only happens when you've really built a relationship and treated your customers well. So consider what your customers think or possibly share about you. So we can't reinforce enough the importance of follow-up. I think we've kind of made that clear already. But when you process one order from a customer and never do business with them again, they're really, in my opinion, not a customer. Customers are not yours forever, and you don't own them, of course. They can choose to do business with anyone else if they don't feel connected to you. So, or they could also choose to buy from anywhere else. So, and we know full well that if a customer is buying from you or has bought once from you, they get invited to another Pink Zebra party and it's a different consultant. They, probably will go and make a purchase there because they want to try to support their friend and their host or the host. But the reality of it is, if they really do stay connected or feel connected to you, they're going to bring their other business back to you. There's no question. So we're always worried about, of course, being taken as pushy, that big word. So even when pursuing someone to join your team, just consider them first and foremost. No one wants to be forced to do something they don't want to do. So basically, you offer the opportunity for them to learn more about your business, feel completely confident in asking pointed questions to gain more information, and be genuinely interested and listen to their responses. So you can certainly offer suggestions with ways that business could work into their life if you know more about them. So, and it's not about arm twisting them and trying to convince them. It's really trying to help them navigate and see if this business really could be something that would work for them. So if they share the busyness of their life and unsure if they have the time to devote to a business like this, a simple question like, if your obstacles were not there, they were removed, would you be open to finding out more? So really what you're trying to find out is the challenges that they might be putting up to you. Do they want some support around working around those? And if they were able to get that, would they be interested in the business? Or if it's just something they're just not interested in? So by asking more questions, you can make that determination. So if you ask that question, if your obstacles weren't there, would you be open to finding out more about our company? And if the response is at all a positive one, I might continue with something like, just tell me about your busy and let's see if I can offer you some tips to make this work. So it's really you coming alongside them and supporting the concept instead of you trying to convince them, because it's not about that at all. So when you're coming from a place of servitude, as I say, meaning you are there to help, plain and simple, people will respond to that and they will start a conversation with you when they feel that you're there to do just that. So I always let prospects know that if after discussing the business, they felt it really wasn't right for them, I was okay with that. So it just puts them at ease that they're not going to be strong-armed into a decision. So basically, that's really key. So if the timing just isn't right for them, ask if it's okay for you to follow up and then follow up when you said you would. So there's nothing worse than stating that you're going to do something and then not do it in the customer's eyes. So if you're asking to reconnect and they're giving you permission to do so, it really should remove that feeling that you may have of just feeling like you're bugging someone. So by asking that permission, you've really asked if it's okay for you to call back. Okay, so I actually am going to skip over this slide because I think it's just something about, when you are showing up at parties, of course, when you're making phone calls to them and you set up a host coaching call, you never really want to be late. Be timely, whether you've got to set a timer on your phone or whatever you do to keep yourself committed to the promises that you've made to customers, really important. So that's really, again, what this comes back to. When you think about, what you are committing to your customers and how you're coming across to them as a service representative, we want to make sure that you're coming across and they're saying, boy, she's really good at what she does. So let's really review the steps to building a loyal customer. Actually, I'm going to skip on or talk about this one first. Sorry about that. I did the wrong slide. So it's really not the first sale that matters. We started to mention this before. It's the second sale. So once a customer purchases twice from you, they are twice as likely to purchase from you again. So this is a huge, huge piece of this message. Because buying from you one time, if they need a replacement, they may just go to another fragrance product, or they may go to the store, they may go who knows where. But when they buy from you that second time, which is why that follow-up is so important, you don't want to just have a happenstance chance that you happen to meet them at another party. You really want it to be an intentional and focused call that you made to them. They make a second purchase from you. The chances then are they're twice as likely to purchase from you again. So if there's nothing else that you remember about tonight, remember that, because that makes a huge difference. So now let's review the steps to building the loyal customer. So we talked about the 222 already. If you're serious about making follow-up a regular part of your business routine, then you really have to plan for it. So when you sell to a customer or you have a party, put something in your planner or your phone to follow up in that 2 days, 2 weeks, and 2 months. And if you do that with every party, you're certainly going to develop that relationship we talked about. And we're going to share a little bit of verbiage that you can use in a bit. So we, of course, live in a world where technology is everywhere. So personal notes certainly can be something that people will remember you by. And really, when you think about so much of our communication is done via electronic, of course. So when you do get something in the mail, you remember it. So people really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the time that it takes to write a note by hand. And certainly writing a thank you card or another kind of follow-up note doesn't have to take an extremely long time. A really quick note just thanking them for their business or for hosting is worthy, absolutely worthy of your time. So when you do send a note, if you do decide to do something like that, make sure you include your business card if you've not already given them one. So another advantage of the handwritten note, people tend to keep them longer and then they act on them immediately when they're going through paperwork or paying bills. Sometimes they'll stick them on their desk and come across it and like, oh my gosh, I need to order from her. So just make sure that you're including all of your contact information if you do send a handwritten note. So the persistent side of it, sometimes it just takes more than one follow-up gesture to continue that relationship, and we've talked about that enough times. So when you look at the two specific things on this sales statistic chart that's here, 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. I mean, that's pretty amazing when you think about that. Yet 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So sometimes we get frustrated when customers don't call us back. So we get, I think if you think about times when you get phone calls about anything and you intend to return the call and you don't, and it's not because you're not interested, it's because you're busy and you forget. There's plenty of times that I've even read a text message and I think I'll go back to that later and answer it, and then I don't, I forget. So we are all busy and we don't necessarily give priority to a consultant. So even if we are interested in what they have to offer. So just remember that your job is to follow up. Good service prevails and customers will appreciate your intentions when they're directed at them. So use a variety of contact methods from phone calls to emails to text messages, certainly Facebook Messenger. Really find out what means of communication that your customers prefer or that they respond to. But my encouragement to you is don't give up. So if you contact somebody and they don't contact you back right away, don't give up, because the chances are they're just busy. It's not because they're not interested in what you have. So we mentioned earlier about using a reminder in your planner or your phone to stay on top of your follow-up. I happen to use a folder system for each party that I did, and I'd enter the host name in my planner, knowing that I would pull that folder when the time came and make my follow-up calls from that. So I would just enter in my planner a couple weeks after a party, call Sue from the party on April 25th, whatever. So every so often then I would also go through my customer file and reach out to customers I knew I hadn't connected with in a while, because the reality of it is you're probably not going to connect with every single customer from every party or every event that you did. The whole key is that you do it regularly as much as you can. And then every so often, whether it's every 3 months, every 6 months, go through your files and start pulling out some people that maybe you just haven't reached out to at all. So I believe that you really will find follow-up calls. They just get easier and easier with practice. So don't give up after a few calls because you feel uncomfortable. Because sometimes when you start the process, you do feel a little bit uneasy. But I find that if you do 2 or 3, you're going to be much more comfortable. So don't give up after a couple when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel so stupid. But just keep going, because you're going to start to get more comfortable and you're going to get more confident. So that feeling goes a long way as you make more calls. So make notes on their order forms if that's what you're using, or in your contact management system if you're using some kind of technology. So phone calls and communication really become more personal because you're referencing things that you learned about them or you know about them from previous phone calls, or even stuff that you might have learned about them at a party. I would always write notes on the back of my order form once somebody walked away, just so I could kind of visually remember them in my mind. Okay, oops, sorry, I missed another piece. I didn't mean to hit that slide yet. So trying to connect beyond doing business. That's what that connect socially is about. So many of your customers are your neighbors. They may be people that you used to work with. They might be college friends. They might be, who knows? And I know many of you have mentioned to me, and I felt the same way too, that some of your customers really have become friends, and it's because you stayed connected with them. So you may have some similar interests or have some mutual friends, but a lot of times in business, it's who you know that really gets the sale. So reaching out and developing friendships is the ultimate way to certainly develop those relationships. And when you're, again, spending time with people and their families, that's certainly something that happens. So the last thing is creating trust. So service and connecting with customers doesn't happen with most retailers or on the web. I would have to say that's probably pretty rare. So you have the chance to really build relationships with your customers, which in turn, of course, builds trust if you are doing what you say you're going to do, as they really begin to consider you their PZ consultant. And that's certainly when you know that you've worked through all of these steps and the things that you're doing are making a difference, when they really remember you and they really connect with you as their PZ consultant. So with people's really busy lives, be quick and to the point when connecting with customers. This shows the 3 components of an effective message or a call. So the why, of course, is important. And of course, once you get past the niceties of hi, how are you, how are your kids, whatever, really share why you are connecting or contacting your customer. So it might be something like, Sherry, I know you mentioned the last time I talked to you that you have a wedding in June and may need some gifts. So if I had taken a note about that, I would follow up with her maybe in early May. And so I obviously put that out there. So the why now that they talk about, it's I'd love to be of help and want to make sure that we have time to make some choices that really work for what you want and need. And can I share some ideas with you? So, and then of course, the final thing is really asking for the sale, whatever that may be. So whether it's truly a sale of product or the sale of hosting a party or the sale of joining your team, all those things really fall into that same category. So I might ask, how would you feel about hosting a party instead of just placing an order? So I could show you how to maximize the dollars that you're going to spend and see some of the products up close and personal that you might want to pick out for those gifts that you wanted. Plus, of course, you're going to have some fun getting some friends together for a quick party. What do you think? So you kind of can transition that call that you made specifically about a wedding gift, but then we can turn it into an opportunity to actually host a party. So the next group of slides really will give you some word choices with some social messages to really connect with customers for a variety of reasons. I know some of you always say that you're just not sure what to say. So all of these, the verbiages that are here were created by Melina Dixon and Cosette Nichols. They did a presentation on follow-up at last year's reunion. They're classics at it, very good at it. So generally, if you look at the general follow-up, this is something like, I wanted to just make sure the information you asked for, so it might have been certainly about the business, probably in that case. And maybe you saw something on their Facebook page that they were posting something about redecorating, and you might throw a comment in there about that. So there's some ideas there. Then, of course, when the order ships, I just saw that your order ships. Super excited to hear what you have to say about it. Maybe you might even add there that I'm going to call you in a couple of weeks and check it out. So again, it's simple. Your order's on the way. Looks like it's going to be there by the end of this week. Here you get a little more personal. Hey, Sherry, your order ships, so your goodies are on their way. I mean, whatever kind of messages that just get something out there to know that you're staying on top of their order and really watching what's going on with their business. Okay, so here, once the customer receives the order, a fun little woot woot, looks like your order arrived. What do you think? And so again, whether you're texting this, you're calling, you're obviously Facebook messaging them, anything you do to just kind of get that process happening. So the other one asks if you had a chance to sniff your scents and plug in your warmer yet. It's amazing, when I sold home decor for years, that people were so excited about their product, and then they would get it, and literally I'd call them a couple of weeks later and it was still sitting in a corner of their dining room. So I'd be like, go get that box right now and let's open it. I mean, it's funny how people get stuff, but then they get busy and they just don't even jump into it. So this is a chance for you to do that and have some fun with them. Okay, so the 2-month and 3-month follow-up, and that's just, obviously you're not always going to contact somebody on that 2-month mark exactly. So there's so many different ways that you can do follow-up in this. I know you've been using the product for a couple of months now, want to see how much you're enjoying those sprinkles. You can read some of these messages to see. So again, just thought I'd check in because I thought you might be getting low on your scents and I didn't want you to run out. And, if you are in fact placing an order, or you've got a party that's going on, whatever the case might be, or that's a time when you can say, why don't you decide to host your own party? We've got these new Blend Bash themes that are going on, and I've got some really fun things to share with you. So simple enough, but maybe it's been a while. I know a number of you have asked me as I've done the tours, like, if I've not been doing follow-up for a long time, how do I get back into doing that? And the only thing I can really tell you is you just have to do it, plain and simple. And I can tell you many times I would contact customers that I had not talked to in a year and a half, and just say, you know what, I'm starting this new follow-up system, and I know I've not talked to you in the last year. I think you were at a party like in the spring of 2018, it's something like that, and I apologize for not connecting, but I am doing that now. So I'd love to know how the products have been working out for you, and obviously you go on to any other conversation at that point. So I just want to encourage you, even if it has been a while, don't not do it. Customers will appreciate the call if it happens and when it happens. So it's one of those things that once you get into that routine and you start doing it, and then obviously as your new customers come, you're going to continue doing it. It just gets easier and easier. Okay, so this is the providing service that you can be proud of. It is a mindset. So this has to do with that quiz that you're going to take. So some of the comments that you might hear from a customer. They call you or connect with you once you send a message to them and they tell you the product wasn't correct. It wasn't the color of the fragrance that they really wanted. Maybe they're getting a headache when they use the fragrance. The order took too long. They found it online for cheaper. I'd love to join, but I don't have that much to spend. So these are all in that survey, and then you have to come up with a response that does not have the word no in it. So just kind of get a little heads up on what that survey is going to look like. So to go through the online assignments, again, we have the answering the questions without saying no. That's what we just talked about. 12th assignment is providing excellent customer service. And then the last thing is settling a blend bash. So I think we've talked about that enough that you're going to get the 10 points for settling a blend bash of any SV. And then, of course, you'll get the bonus points, additional bonus points if that party is 1,000 plus. So the only thing is with the 1,000 plus party, you cannot be the host. You must have 6 or more customers. And we do check the orders, just so you know, and it needs to be settled by May 9th. And of course, all of your assignments have to be done by May 9th. So we will be posting, unfortunately, I have to look to see if Erica sent me the update because now she's not going to be in work tomorrow because of her sister. So if it doesn't get posted tomorrow in tomorrow's message, just know it'll be out there first thing on Monday. So you'll have really a heads up on points that you've accumulated so far through week 5. That's what we're going to post. So if you're not sure where you are with points, that we'll tell you. And then, of course, anything that you finish up for week 6, you'll have to include those points as well. So I think with that, we're going to end with our last slide. Certainly graduating from Bash Camp and achieving the 15,000 SV from July 1st of 18 through June 30th of 19 is going to earn you that Pink Sapphire status. And certainly you'll be recognized at reunion and get the new award. Very exciting as our first group of Pink Sapphires. And in week 6 assignment, the recap that will come out tomorrow, I really would like you to complete the general survey. You may not have been doing that week by week because it's not required for graduation, but this one I really would love you to because there is a couple questions in there about things that you might say about Bash Camp in general and really encouraging others to join the next Bash Camp. So I normally pull some quotes from the surveys that are done that I can share when we do our registration for the next Bash Camp. So I would love it if you took the time to do that general survey in the assignment or in the message that comes out tomorrow. We will not have another Bash Camp until after reunion. There's just really literally 6 weeks left by the time we get back from Ireland because that trip is coming up soon. So we will not have another one, but we will launch a new Bash Camp right after reunion. In fact, I have the schedule figured out through the end of the year. So I don't remember the exact date, I'll be honest with you, but I believe it's right at the very beginning of August. But of course, information will come out about that. So what I would encourage you, you've been through Bash Camp, you don't need to do it again, but I would encourage you if you have team members or new team members that are joining to have them sign up for Bash Camp as soon as they can. So even brand new consultants, I think there's a lot of good information here to help them just get better at what they're doing and understand more about the business. So we will bring this one to a close. Congratulations for being with me all 6 weeks. And it's kind of funny because I see the attendees tonight are much lower than they are when we start out in week 1. So we hope a lot of people will be listening to the recording. But we fully well know that, we lose some people along the way. So I really appreciate that you guys have hung in there and really gone the course with this 6 weeks. I know it's not easy. So thank you. Of course, I'm a Bash Camper. I am, I can, I will, I do, and I did. And just don't forget, you need that 130 points by May 9th in order to graduate. And I know all of you can do it. I know you can. So thanks again, guys. Good night. I certainly appreciate all of you. And you are very welcome. I see Gina posted that message. I guess I could look at the questions and see if there's anything else here you guys have. Certainly, you can reach me anytime, send me a message, text me, whatever, if you have any specific questions, but it's been a pleasure to be with you for the last 6 weeks. So thanks, guys. Good. Oh, wait a minute. I see a question. These questions are really hard to read. Like, it's really tiny. It says, so if we posted a blend bash image, we get the bonus points plus the 10 points from the settle a blend bash correct. So what if we have over 6 orders, but it's between 3 people? If it's 6 separate orders, it's kind of funny because I don't police that. Erica does. So So you might want to text me about that so I can have her check it for you to make sure. But if you hit that 1,000 mark, I certainly would love to give you the points for that. But yes, you will get 20 points for that because it hit over the $1,000 mark. So, all right, you did message as well. So that's perfect. All right, Desiree, thank you so much, guys. It was great to spend some time with you. And I hope that you have a great week, great weekend. And I know some of you I may be seeing in Ireland. I don't know. But good night. Bye, everybody.